Hello, you're watching India Today Global with me, Ishita Mitra, and this is the time when we get you the biggest story of the day. And today our story comes from West Asia. US President Donald Trump, now in his second term, has embarked on a high-stakes headline-making tour of the Gulf. And in just a short while from now, he's going to land in Saudi Arabia. Now, this trip is Trump's first major international engagement since returning to the office. And it's already making waves for both where he is going and for where he's not. Now, Trump's itinerary is tightly focused on three Gulf powerhouses: Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and United Arab Emirates. He will meet Saudi Arabia's de facto ruler, Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, in Riyadh today. The two are set to hold in-depth talks on a range of critical issues. Now, this includes Iran's nuclear ambitions, the ongoing war in Gaza, oil prices, and of course regional security. The Saudi leg of Donald Trump's visit is tightly packed. Trump will attend a formal dinner hosted by the Crown Prince. He'll also participate in Gulf Cooperation Council Summit, where leaders from different countries including Bahrain, Kuwait, Oman, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, UAE will, and of course along with this, he'll also headline a Saudi-US investment forum. Now this is very crucial because this is where he hopes to secure a staggering $1 trillion in Saudi investment into US industries. Now remember, this investment would build on already $600 billion commitment made by the Crown Prince earlier this year. It is expected to be accompanied by announcements of over $100 billion in Saudi arms purchases, including advanced missiles, radar systems, and transport aircraft. So now this is the first leg of the visit, and then from Riyadh, Trump will head to Doha in Qatar. Remember, this is the country which is home to the largest US military installations in the Middle East. And from there on, he's going to meet with Emir Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani. He's going to discuss military cooperation, regional security, and also he's going to make efforts to mediate a ceasefire in Gaza. Remember, the war has been going on since October 2023. Now, this is a major operation that's been going on between Israel and Hamas, and Trump definitely wants to secure a ceasefire between the two warring parties. And therefore, this is something that will come up in discussions in all three countries. Now, Qatar, which maintains open channels with both Hamas and Syrian regime, is also expected to seek Trump's support in easing sanctions on Syria. And along with that, it's also going to press for a more active US role in Gaza peace negotiations, as I just mentioned before. Now, the final stop and the final leg of Trump's Gulf tour will be UAE. He's going to visit Abu Dhabi and he will be meeting with UAE leaders. He's going to explore further economic partnerships with the country. Now, if you look at this, the UAE recently unveiled a $1.4 trillion investment strategy for US sectors. It included artificial intelligence, semiconductors, energy, and manufacturing. And in this visit, Trump is expected to announce the lifting of export restrictions on advanced US technology, a move that will be closely watched by both industry insiders and international observers. Now, the UAE, for its part, is very eager to become a global leader in AI by 2030. And it sees this deepening ties with the US as a crucial opportunity for that ambition. But perhaps the most talked about aspect of this visit is not the countries that he is visiting, but the country which is not on Trump's itinerary, that is Israel. Now, despite the ongoing war in Gaza and Israel's escalating military operations following the breakdown of ceasefire about 2 months ago, Trump has chosen not to visit Jerusalem or meet with Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu during his Gulf tour. And this omission has not gone unnoticed. Israeli officials already wary, after Trump's recent outreach to Iran. We've seen US and Iran have been talking to each other directly. US claims it's direct conversation. Iran says it's indirect, but nevertheless, they have been, engaging with each other on nuclear talks, and this is something Israel has not been seeing in a very good light. And then this visit comes where Israel is not even part of Donald Trump's itinerary. So this is something that Israel is not looking, it's very apprehensive of how this would pan out for the region. We've also seen that US has also spoken about having direct talks with Hamas. So this is something, again, a major concern for Israel. It of course feels like the administration which is in power right now is sort of, leaving it out of major regional diplomacy. And therefore, these are concerns that might be raised maybe later. Now, some sources suggest that Trump might have included Israel if he could have announced a major breakthrough such as a Gaza ceasefire or a new humanitarian initiative. We've seen, Trump has this habit of, becoming this person that, see, I took this initiative and I've announced this. So had it been something like this, had it been a ceasefire in place, had it been a new humanitarian initiative, maybe, opening a humanitarian corridor into Gaza, then definitely Trump would have visited Israel to make that announcement, to take that onus, to take that credit basically for that initiative. But since there are no initiatives currently in place like that, Trump is not going to be visiting Israel. This is according to reports now. But of course, we'll have to see the objective of Trump's visit are very clear in this regard. He wants to secure massive economic deals because we've seen Trump is, not first as a president, he always acts first as a businessman. So for him, his Gulf tour is all about making most of it in terms of economic opportunities. So he's going to secure massive economic deals. He's going to reinforce US alliances with Gulf monarchies. And he's also going to reassert American influence in a region which has been roiled, we've seen, by war and shifting power dynamics. So Trump's team has already emphasized that the trip is about a shared vision of stability, opportunity and mutual respect. It's going to be about building on the Abraham Accords, which saw UAE and Bahrain normalize relations with Israel during Donald Trump's first term. So of course he might not be visiting Israel, but he will take up this issue with the Gulf states on how we can increase cooperation between Israel and the other Gulf states. However, the prospect of Saudi Arabia joining these accords appears stalled as of now, because Riyadh, we've seen, has been insisting that any normalization with Israel must be linked to genuine progress toward a two-state solution for Palestinians. Again, something that Israel has completely denied. So it's going to be interesting to see that how and if can Trump actually bring Saudi Arabia on the table to increase cooperation with Israel when two-state solution is nearly out of sight now. Now, Trump is also expected to address in private these conversations, even if public breakthroughs remain unlikely. So we've seen, if you look at the larger objective of Donald Trump's visit, there's a very strong economic undercurrent. And there's a background to it as well. We've seen that US economic output has dipped, and it's for the first time in 3 years that US is witnessing this. So Donald Trump is therefore eager to showcase investment wins, and of course if he can secure any arms deal that can boost American jobs and industry. We've seen throughout his campaigning, he talked about this, that America is on the decline. We have to, regain its glory, regain our image, our reputation on the global stage. So therefore, this is a great opportunity for Donald Trump to showcase that, he's really committed to the goals that he did speak about during his election campaigns. Now, the Gulf states, meanwhile, they also have their own agenda in this place. It is a give and take situation here, and therefore they are also looking for security guarantees. They're looking for advanced technology from the US and also continued engagement, as they navigate the challenges. There are a lot of challenges in the West Asia right now. We have volatile oil markets, you have Iran's nuclear ambitions, and you also have the fallout from the Gaza conflict. So definitely you would need US on board for all of those issues to be, to be worked out. So US is looking for massive economic opportunity here, and the Gulf states are looking for, in terms of technology exchange, they're looking for more investment. They're also looking for continued engagement on issues that continue to plague West Asia. Now, Trump's decision to separate, these discussions on Saudi nuclear agreement from normalization with Israel is another departure from previous US policy, because we've seen there's this hyphenation. We'll also have talks on normalization, we'll also have talks on nuclear ambitions, but they're no longer dependent on each other. They've hyphenated the two issues, and this is something different we've seen, and this is very different from what Biden administration was doing. They had clearly insisted on linking Saudi Arabia's nuclear ambitions to progress with Israel, but of course Trump's policy is a departure from that. Now, Trump is also pursuing these tracks very independently, something that we've not seen in the past. So basically, as Trump's Gulf tour continues, the world is watching very closely. Will he succeed in brokering new economic partnerships and advancing peace efforts? Or will the absence of Israel from his itinerary deepen the sense of uncertainty in a region already on edge. So for now, what's certain is that the Middle East remains at the center of global diplomacy, and that Donald Trump once again is determined to make his mark. And with this visit, crucial stops, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and you also have UAE, definitely we're going to see a lot of agreements coming in place. We're going to see economic partnerships getting boosted. And of course, what reaction will come from Israel? That is something that will also be closely watched. So thank you so much for watching this with us. Stay tuned to India Today Global, where we simplify geopolitics for you.